Okay, so the market demand curve QD and supply curve QS of good X are given by the following equations. Okay, so colleagues, this is what you call a demand function. The demand function is illustrating the law of demand. Okay, this is how you interpret these functions here. Okay, quantity demanded here is dependent on the price here. Okay, so now this minus sign here is illustrating the negative relationship. Okay, this negative relationship means if you increase price, quantity demanded is going to go down. Okay, and if you do the opposite, if you drop price, quantity demanded is going to go up. Okay, that is what this law of demand is explaining here, right? Yes. QD is quantity demanded, P is price. Then here we have the supply function, which is showing the law of supply. Okay. Usually there is a plus sign, okay, but this one is just 2P. So what it means is if price increases, quantity supplied is also going to increase. Positive relationship. If price drops, quantity supplied is going to drop. Okay. Yes. So this is how you interpret these functions. Okay. They've told us where P is the price in kwacha, QD is the demand, and QS is the supply. So number one, calculate the market equilibrium, price, and quantity. So remember, colleagues, at equilibrium, quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. So you're going to equate these functions. It's just a matter of algebra. Okay, 120 minus 2p equals 2p. We have to solve for p. We have to find the price. Okay, so you group like terms. So you're going to say 120 equals 2p plus this negative 2p. You're going to carry it over this side, so it becomes positive 2p. 2p plus 2p, that is 4p. Or to find the value of p, so we divide both sides by 4. Hundred and 20 divided by 4, that gives us 30. So the equilibrium price is 30 kwacha. So when we say the equilibrium price, it means this is how much this good is being sold for, 30 kwacha. Any questions? Okay. So now I want to find the equilibrium quantity. So this peak was 30. If you want, you can substitute it into the demand function, or you can substitute it into the supply function. Okay. So we substitute P equals 30 in the demand function. QD equals 120 minus 2P. We have to substitute P with 30, so that's 120 minus 2 times 30. 2 times 30, that is 60. Okay, so 120 minus 60 gives us 60. Okay, gives us 60. Okay, and that's the equilibrium quantity. Remember, at equilibrium, quantity demanded equals quantity supplied. So this is 60 units. Okay. As I said, you can also substitute it into the supply function. Okay. QS, remember QS equals 2P. You still get the same 60. Okay. When you substitute P with 30, 2 times 30, that is 60. Okay. Any questions? Okay. So we have answered number 1. Okay. That's how you calculate equilibrium price and quantity. Okay. Now we're going to go to number 2, where a tax has been imposed. Okay. Government has imposed a tax. Okay. Earlier on, government wasn't playing any role. Okay. The consumer pays 30 kwacha, the supplier receives 30 kwacha. Okay. And what was the amount demanded and the amount that was applied was 60 units. Now we're going to see what happens if you have a tax included. So whenever you have a tax included, this is how you can do it. Um, Remember, before the tax, the price that the buyers were paying, this is PD, okay? PD is the price the buyers are paying, okay? The price the buyers are paying was the same amount as what the suppliers were receiving before the tax. Now a tax has been implemented, okay? So you can either choose to adjust what the buyers pay or what the suppliers receive. I usually like to use PS, okay? So when a tax is involved, the money that the suppliers receive is what the buyers pay minus the tax. Okay, colleagues? When you go and buy a good, all right, part of that price is the value added tax. Okay. So when you pay that, the value added tax goes to government, the remainder of the money goes to the supply. Okay. So this is the first thing you need to do. When a tax is involved, you write this equation: PS equals PB minus T. PS, the money the supplier receives. PB is the money the buyers pay. Okay. Money. So the money the supplier receives is what the buyers pay minus the tax. I hope we're okay with that. This is the first thing you do. Step 1. Okay. So the tax is how much? 10 kwacha. So this, we're going to say PS equals PB minus 10. Okay. PS equals PB minus 10. Okay. That is the first thing you do. First, make an equation for PS. Then, remember this. The supply function is always dealing with the sellers. Okay, so your supply function, remember it was QS equals 2PS. Okay, this one here, this supplies function here, this QS equals 2P. This P Always remember, attach an S to it. This is PS. Then the demand function, you're always looking at the buyer's perspective. So here, the price on the demand function is PB. Okay, colleagues? PB, what the buyers pay, attach it to the demand function. PS, the money the suppliers receive, attach it to the supply function. Okay. Here at equilibrium, there was no difference between PB and PS because what the buyer pays is what the supplier receives. Government doesn't get anything. Okay. So at equilibrium, when we're calculating here, that's why I ignored the PB and PS. But when a tax and a subsidy are included, then you need to segregate these two. Any questions before I move further? Step 2, adjust your supply function. Okay. Remember, PS equals PB minus 10. So here, our supply function becomes 2, open brackets, PB minus 10. Okay. Because remember, colleagues, PS equals PB minus 10. Okay. Yes. So we can adjust this. We expand. We're going to say 2 times PB, that is 2 PB. 2 times negative 10, that is negative 20. Okay, so this is our new supply function. Okay, colleagues, that is our new supply function. Okay. Then after you have done these 2 steps, you have got the equation for PS and you have adjusted the supply function. Then we do things, we go back to how we did it the other way, okay, to calculate the new price and quantity. Okay, so step 3, again, equate QD to QS. Okay, so QD is 120 minus 2 PB. 120 minus 2 PB. And QS is 2 PB minus 20. So we find PB, the price the buyers are paying. Okay, so again, it's a matter of grouping like terms together. This negative 20 will cross over and go there to become positive. This negative 2 PB is going to cross over the equal sign and become positive. Okay, so we're going to have 120, right, plus 20 equals 2 PB plus 2 PB. So 120 plus 20, that is 140. 2 PB plus 2 PB, you get 4 PB. So we divide both sides by 4. Okay. So we're going to say 140 divided by 4, that is 35 kwacha. All right. So PB, the price the buyers are paying is 35 kwacha. Okay. Yes. So colleagues, notice at equilibrium, the buyers were paying 30 kwacha. Okay. This P equals 30, PBPS equals 30. Okay. When there was no tax, the buyers were paying 30 kwacha. Now a tax has been added and the buyers are paying now 35 kwacha. Yeah. Yes. Any questions before now we calculate how much the suppliers are receiving? Okay. The suppliers, so remember PS equals PB minus 10. So the price the buyers pay, 35 kwacha minus 10 kwacha, you get 25 kwacha. So the suppliers are receiving 25 kwacha. Okay. Earlier on, before the tax, the suppliers were receiving 30 kwacha. The buyer pays 30 kwacha, the supplier receives 30 kwacha. Now the tax has come in. The buyer is paying 35 kwacha, is paying 5 kwacha extra, and the supplier is receiving 5 kwacha less. So it's like this tax has been shared between both. Okay, remember the tax is 10 kwacha. So the buyer is paying 5 kwacha more. That extra 5 kwacha goes to government. The supplier is getting 5 kwacha less. That other 5 kwacha is going to government, which makes a total of 10 kwacha tax. Any questions before we now tabulate the new quantity? Okay, so to get the new quantity, again, if you use PB, substitute this into the demand function. If you use PS, substitute it into the supply function. Okay, so remember the supply function, the original supply function was QS equals 2PS, right? So we just say 2 times 25 2 times 25, the new quantity supplied is 50 units. Okay. Originally, the quantity that was applied was 60 units. Now, this has come in. The tax has come in. So, the supply has reduced from 60 to 50 units. Okay. If we used the demand function, we would have said QD equals 120 minus 2PB. So you're going to say 120 minus PB is 35. So you say 2 times 35. 2 times 35, that is 70. So you're going to say 120 minus 70. You're going to get 50 units. Okay, colleagues. You can choose whichever you want. You still get the same. You don't have to do both in a question. You just select one. Okay, whichever function you're going to work with. Okay, you're supposed to get the same quantity. Any questions?